Well, hello there. Good afternoon. This is Clark Bradley with Debt to Abundance. Hold on, let me tweak this. There. Is that better? Okay, so I am going live right now. I wanted to try this again because I had a unsuccessful live recording from last week on this topic, which is my why I'm doing this business, why I've started this and spent the last 12 years in the um, corporate lane, if you will, and then have recently decided to pursue my own financial coaching business. So, rewinding a little bit till about 20 years ago, and I was reading or noticed a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. My dad's had an entrepreneurial business and spirit for as long as I can remember, and that influence certainly rubbed off on me. And picked that book up, and it really just kind of shifted my entire outlook on, the traditional advice of go to school, study hard, get a job, work hard, retire at 65. That's never really been my way or my thought, my process of going through. I know I had initially pursued a finance degree at Michigan State, go green, but eventually realized that I was, really wanted to do something different, that I had kind of a calling to do my own thing. And in the personal finance world, as a financial advisor, you kind of have that freedom. You're still bound to the company themselves, but you have a little bit of autonomy in terms of your activities and so on. But you're still, you're still an employee of the company. So, anyways, I read that book, and it totally flips my world upside down in terms of thinking, for example, that your house is your biggest asset. It's actually not. It's a liability, and I'm sure some people will disagree. But if it takes money out of your pocket, simply put, it's a liability. And your house costs you money. I know it goes up in value, so it does have an appreciating component to it, but it still costs you money every month. Whether you have a mortgage or not, you're still paying taxes and insurance on it and upkeep, right? So, the other thing that really changed my attitude was the backwards thinking that getting a safe, secure job and working for a company or working for several companies over the course of your career is secure. There actually is not security in that. Job security is kind of an illusion because you are not in control of that unless you truly are your own business owner or own your own business or investment that generates its own income or own revenue for you. So job security is not entirely accurate. Robert Kiyosaki, the author, would argue that owning your own business and pursuing other investments that you can have more control over would be the true way to establish and have more job security. So, anyways, from that point, then I pursued a degree in personal finance and in finance in particular. Always having a passion for that, and I've always just loved that field. And then 12 years worth in the personal finance, the banking world, financial services, and then just felt that I was called to work with clients on a more individual level, and felt that I was called to work with clients that I would not have otherwise been. I didn't want to feel bound or restricted by a particular set of products to sell or a particular investment philosophy that I didn't otherwise agree with. Whereas now, if I'm talking to a client or somebody that might need some direction, I can say go to company A or go to company B, and I'm not restricted by what I might recommend to them, because of what the sign on the outside of the door says the company that I might represent, right? It's just pure objective advice and what I would do in their shoes, in my own 2 cents, right? So that's the biggest thing. one of the biggest things and why I'm pursuing this financial coaching business. Also, of course, now I'm steering my own ship and the master of my own destiny, whatever kind of slogan you want to call it. But there's some possibility and there's some little bit of fear within that, but definitely more excitement for me than anything in terms of that. So um, after that, you know, time where I realized that I was getting more enjoyment and more fulfillment out of sitting down with the 25-year-old kid who was just out of school and trying to figure out, shouldn't say kid, but 25-year-old person who was figuring out, okay, paying off debt, getting their student loans organized and knocked out, or trying to build their savings account, or trying to save for a house, or maybe save for a wedding, or whatever it might be. It was more fun and more enjoyable for me to sit down and break down that entire scenario with somebody and then give them a game plan and a step-by-step guide to get them where they want to than the 55-year-old or 65-year-old who was planning for retirement. Um, there's nothing wrong with that, helping an older person plan for retirement, but there was more excitement to me to get someone going and get someone in the right direction on earlier in life. And that doesn't even have to be based on their age. I think it's just when you've got somebody who's in a hole or in a rut or has some debt they want to pay off, giving them a game plan and seeing that light in their eye and having them and helping them and reassuring them that, hey, this isn't, you're not screwed. Okay, you can make it out of this. You can make it through this. And showing them that there is a possibility of, them pursuing and achieving their goals was so rewarding. And unfortunately, not everybody gets taught basic personal finance. I had a boatload of debt after school. My wife had debt after school. We had made our own poor choices with credit cards and different debt that we had, car loans and home improvement loans. And so we learned some of that the hard way by not being able to reduce or restrict our spending and not overspend. And so we took some time and paid all that off. We're almost there. But anyway, so the point I guess I'm getting at is, I got more enjoyment out of coming up with a game plan for someone who was maybe, starting out or didn't necessarily have the knowledge or the experience to know the right way to go about this, right? And it was my chance to use what I had learned in my years at school and in my years in the industry, and also use what I had learned from my experience of paying off my own debt and budgeting and all that stuff, which is great. I love that. That's why I do what I do. So, taking a peek at my notes here. The other thing too, I think that helps me, and one thing I want to convey to people is, all of this stuff with managing your money and saving for retirement and which investments to pick and how much do I have in this account or this emergency fund, or what's the best way to pay off debt, or how do I put money into this 401k or this Roth IRA, or what kind of investments should I choose, whether it's mutual funds or ETFs or stocks, or all of that stuff. It's not really as complicated as it might seem once you've got a pretty simple game plan and a pretty step-by-step formula or format to follow. It's pretty cut and dry. There's a couple of key factors or a couple of key indicators, I would say, that you'd want to monitor to kind of give you an indicator of your success. But beyond that, it doesn't have to be complicated. It actually should remain simple so that you're not confusing yourself or getting lost in the weeds or losing track of your goal, and also so that you're not overpaying for something that you could probably just do on your own. That was another conflict that I had after a while working in that industry. Is some of the guys in that industry weren't always making the right recommendations or the right selling the right thing to the right person for that scenario, for that position where they were in life, right? Commissions were paid to certain advisors, whether or not it was for the right and best interest of the client. So that's one of the biggest reasons I left, is so that now I can have an unbiased and objective opinion as to go there and buy that particular thing. I don't care if you buy it here at this company or over there at that company or wherever you pick to open an account. It's just my 2 cents, right? So that's huge. So that's kind of where I'm at. The course that I'm launching January 4th will kind of cover that in terms of going from really like this stage 1 through stage 5. I've got a quiz on my website, debttoabundance.com, so you can determine where and what stage you're at and how to progress. Some tools and some resources that you can get through and have for free access to that to help you progress to the next stage. And the steps you need and the tools that are provided in order to help you get there. And then my course will go even further into how to get that done and accountability. And I'm going to have certainly have some accountability and some coaching calls and stuff like that along the way to get you where you need to go. So just kind of to recap, some of the things that I certainly learned is to pursue your dreams, pursue your goals. I'd definitely have loads of regret if I was still sitting at my employer and hadn't left and hadn't pursued this, because it's so fulfilling. It's so rewarding to be able to create this business and create the course that I've been working on, and to be able to connect with people that I can truly make a difference and not feel hindered or feel like I have to do certain things based on that corporate mentality. I should have done this earlier. I was kind of finding my voice, if you will, as time has gone on, in terms of what I feel, a certain conviction, or what convictions I have about personal finance and the best way to navigate this world. So, there took some time for me to just kind of, like I said, establish my opinions, if you will, my voice. So, the thing too is I get a chance now to share our story a bit more openly. Obviously, there was certain things I couldn't say while I was employed, but even just our own personal story. The first time around we had $97,000 in debt. Brought that all the way down to 10 or 12, and then moved to the current city that we're in. Thought we had it all figured out and we're good, and ended up racking that back up to 82,000. So didn't learn our lesson. Continued to overspend. Bought things we didn't need. Spent more than we should have. Right. And now that 82 is back down to 20 something. 25, 28, somewhere in there. So we're getting there. Our goal is by the end of the year to have that knocked out. It's a big goal. It's aggressive, but we're working hard on that. So what I would ask is go to my site, debttoabundance.com, fill out that quiz, connect with me there if you'd like to ask questions. I have a contact form. Any questions you've got regarding, reaching your goals financially, or paying debt off, or budgeting, or building your savings, or long-term retirement planning, I can certainly provide some perspective there. Also, fill out my 5 stages of money quiz to figure out what stage you're at, and then I will provide some materials for you, some free resources that will help you get to the next stage. And like I mentioned, my course is opening up on January the 4th. So check that out, join the wait list, and you'll be the first to know when it's opening, and some of the other good stuff that I'll be providing within the course. So appreciate you hanging out with me, and have an amazing Thursday, and we'll talk to you soon. Ciao.